Hi there. In this episode of the Prophets of Islam, I'll be looking at the name Yahyah. What is the meaning of Yahyah? That is what we'll be exploring in this episode. And so, as usual, I will present before you the doctor from Nottingham. Doctor from Nottingham, Doctor, what is his name? Hussein. This is Dr. Hussein from Nottingham in the UK. He's going to say something about Yahyah. And then after that, I will come back and ask the question again, what is the meaning of Yahyah?
Women can also be prophets, but other than that, the consensus is prophets have always been men.
Let him, okay.
Really, and that is not to in any form or shape to show that women are less than men at all. This is not,
So the role of the messenger prophet is to bring the revelation and to set an example, or am I confusing messengers and prophets here?
Okay, well,
So Dr. Hussein, an Islamic scholar, is going to tell us the difference between a Nabi and a Rasul. Nabi is the prophet, Rasul is the messenger. After telling us the difference, he will then go ahead to give us an example of a Rasul and an example, or maybe two examples, an example of a Nabi, Yahyah, and he will mention two examples of Rasul. Let him do that. Doctor, go ahead.
there is the Nabi and there is the Rasul. And the distinction is very simple, that the Nabi is the prophet who receives the revelation without a book. And
did you hear that? So Nabi is a prophet who receives a revelation without a book. By the way, that definition is why is he mentioning prophet? Nabi is the prophet that receives a revelation without a book. How about Rasul? Rasul is the prophet that receives revelation with a book. So what was the difference between a Nabi and a Rasul? Well, maybe just the book, right? Okay, let's accept that. Now go ahead, Doctor.
the idea is that he would be most likely reinvigorating, presenting and reviving the teachings of a previous prophet. We believe, for example, John the Baptist was one of the Nabis, who...
Okay, so John the Baptist was one of the Nabis, one of the prophets. Okay, so John the Baptist, go ahead.
revived the teachings of the previous prophets, meaning of Moses and, of course, Zachariah, who was his father.
Okay, so you've heard it. So Nabi Yahyah revived the messages of Rasul Musa and Rasul Zachariah, the father of Nabi Yahyah. Does this make any sense to you at all? Does it? Because the father of Yahyah, Zechariah, whom we read about from Luke chapter 1, right from verse 5, I'm just trying to refresh. I already did a video on that when I talked about what is the meaning of Zachariah. So now we're looking at what is the meaning of Yahyah. Now, as usual, we will go and just do a little search. You're going to see the meaning of Yahyah. Okay? Just a little search. So let's do that. So here is what we're greeted with when we type the meaning of what is the meaning of John. Just say, what is the meaning of John? Okay, so the name John, have you seen this? Is of the Hebrew origin, meaning God is gracious. John is an English derivative. I actually want to highlight this thing and it's not highlighting. What's the problem? Okay, let's forget that. But I think you can see it on the screen. So John itself is of the English derivative of Hebrew name Yahyah. That is the Hebrew name Yahyah. What is the meaning of Yahyah? Yahyah was taken to Latin and it became Johannes. And that is where English got John from. Okay? So John is from Hebrew Yahyah. What is the meaning of Yahyah? Remember, you have Yo in Hebrew, it is going to be Joe, just like Yehoshua is Joshua. So Yahyah is from Yehoshua, which is Yehoshua, which is the Yah of Yahweh that we've been looking at. It is the beginning of Yahweh, Yah. And so, now let me ask you, what is the meaning of Hannah? What is the meaning of Hannah? So I'm going to search the meaning of Hannah. Okay, I suppose you know where we're going now. What is the meaning of Hannah? Some people already know the meaning of Hannah. Hannah simply means grace. That's what Hannah means. Hannah means grace. Therefore, Yahyah means what? Yahyah means what? It means Yehoshua or Yahweh. It means Yahweh is gracious. Yahyah means Yahweh is gracious because Hannah means grace. Hannah in Hebrew is grace in English. Yahyah. I'm stressing these things because I know that Muslims don't hear things. I don't understand. I don't know why things don't sink. Things don't sink. Very simple things don't sink. This explanation that I'm giving, if you give this same explanation to a kindergarten, a grade 4 pupil, they will get it very, very simply. Hannah means grace. Yahyah is Yahweh is gracious. Because that Yo is like the Yehoshua, Joshua. Okay? Yahweh saves is the meaning of Yehoshua. Yahweh saves. Yahweh, Jehovah saves. Joshua. That's what it means. So Yahyah is Yahweh is gracious. And that is what is translated into English, John, or to Latin, Johannes. In South Africa, you have Johannesburg. Okay, you have Johannesburg. Whatever that means, you already understand. So, Muslims, the question I'm asking from you is: so we've seen the meaning of John or Johannes. What does Yahyah? What does it mean? What does Yahyah mean? By the way, I don't know where they got Yahyah because it should be Johannes. It should be Johannes. But let's leave that. What is the meaning of Yahyah? We know that Johannes or Johanna or Johanna or John simply means Jehovah is gracious or Yahweh is gracious. It's time for you Muslims, since Yahyah is one of the prophets that your Quran mentions by name, tell us the meaning of that name, Yahyah. Thank you. God bless you. Catch you in the comment section. I hope you're going to drop your comment. Don't insult. Don't try to intimidate anybody. You can't intimidate here. All you can do is explain to us, how does Yahyah get into your Quran? We need to know the meaning. How does Yahyah relate to Allah? How does Yahyah relate to Anna? I said to relate to Anna. How does Yahyah relate to Allah? Tell us. I have told you the meaning of John or Johanna or Johannes in English, in Latin, and in Hebrew. It's time for you to give us the meaning. Thank you and God bless you.